Hey everyone, this is Jonathan Ricks, your instructor and field supervisor for Practicum. This information is going to serve as your pre-conference session for your first formal observation or your first actual recording of a counseling session, group counseling session, classroom guidance session, or presentation to your staff. So let's take a look at what is required for this part of Practicum. So as you know, the recording or the recorded counseling session is due during week 3, which is actually next week. All of the information that you will need to do this assignment is found under formal observations in the left pane of our Blackboard course. So if you go into that, you will see some information here, some videos that may be helpful for you. You will also see the pre-observation meeting and formal observation area. This is all of the information that you need to know and complete for your formal observation. So basically, you're going to record your session. Your session has to be at least 45 minutes. You'll submit your recorded session along with 3 forms that will go all in one bundle when you submit to Blackboard at the end of week 3. If you do it earlier, that's okay too, but it's due the end of week 3. Here's an example of how your video can actually be made. The first 3 to 5 minutes can be an introduction of yourself. It can be an introduction of your campus. It could also tell us, tell me what's coming up. What's the session going to be about? Is it a classroom guidance? Is it an individual student? Maybe give me some information about the student. The next 35 minutes of the tape actually has to be the session, the meat of the session. Has to be the actual counseling session, group session, classroom session, or presentation. And then the last 7 to 12 minutes can be you talking to me on the camera, on the tape, or video, summarizing the activity and telling me about your effectiveness and kind of how you feel about the tape. You can use this format if you would like to make it 45 minutes total. You do not have to. A lot of students just do a full 45 minutes of them counseling or doing a group lesson or a guidance lesson. That's fine, but the actual length of the video must be 45 minutes. So however you decide you want to do that is fine. In addition to submitting the video, you're going to take a look at these documents here because these also have to be submitted. So first is the formal interactive observation and reflect model. This is a time for you to reflect on how you feel like you did during the session. So this document gives you some pretty some background information here. It talks about how eventually you'll do 3 observations during the practicum and internship. Of course, we're just doing one video recorded session for the practicum course. You'll need to fill in all of this information, very detailed here, the start time of your session, the stop and start time of your session, what was the name of it, the day of your conference, and the interactive conference. That's actually when you and I meet to go over your tape, and then the times of that as well. The next part is where you will evaluate your observable skills. So during the first session of during the first tape, I keep saying tape because that's what they were when I was in my master's program, but during the first video recording, these are the skills that we're going to be looking for. How did you open the session? Did you state objectives for it? Did you focus the session? How were your attending skills? Did you paraphrase and summarize open-ended questions? How did you do with building rapport? And then how was your closing of the session? So you'll come in and put a check in those skills that you saw yourself do in the video, and then you'll list any more observable skills here. And the comments part is you're welcome to put something that's more for me to type in my comments when I actually review your tape, your video. Then the second part of this evaluation is for you to use this reflect model. And the reflect stands for record, establish, frame, link, evaluate, connect, and target. And so you'll need to come in here and write in narrative form to respond to each of these pieces of this model. And basically what this is doing is providing you an opportunity to reflect on your performance in this video session. The final thing is for you to evaluate how you did with your technology skills, as this is part of your grade 2. Was the sound of your tape okay? How was the audio, the video, the web sharing, and you putting it into the Blackboard form? Also, when we meet to go over it, are you able to hear me and see me, and your equipment working for that? That goes as well as part of your grade. So the total passing score for this would be a 75. So you'll go ahead and submit this form along with your video. Notice it says your supervisor's signature, principal's signature, your signature. You don't need to get those signatures when you first submit this with your video. That is for when we're all done and your video is graded, you and I have met to go over the results of your video. I'll send you a completed form with my comments in addition to yours, and then you'll get that signed. That's several weeks down the road, so don't worry too much about signatures right now. But this is the one document that has to come along with your video. Another document is this transcription for observations. So you are required to transcribe your session verbatim, not a large portion of your session, about 15 minutes, but no more than 5 pages. So when we say transcribing, we're talking about typing every word that you say and every word that the student says, or whomever is involved in your session, depending on the dynamic of what type of session you are conducting. But as you see the example down here, and here's some abbreviations that we use. ST for student. So the student said this. The CIT, which is the counselor in training, followed up with this. And then the BR is better response. So we challenge you to think of maybe better ways to have responded at different points. Not every response will need a better response. But if you go back and read over this as you're typing and you see that you could have done a different type of response, you can come in with BR and then say what maybe you could have said instead of what you did say. So again, we want you to do this for 15 minutes. It can be any 15 minutes of the session that you choose. But please, if you get to 5 pages, stop the transcription. It doesn't need to be any longer than 5 pages, even if that has not covered 15 minutes. So you'll just continue this document out until it gets to be 5 pages. And if 15 minutes ends up not being 5 pages, that's fine. You still stop. We don't want you to go any further than 15 minutes or any further than 5 pages. Okay. This one here, I think I skipped over the formal observation checklist. This one's really not a form that you'll submit to me. This is more something that's helpful maybe for you as you are thinking about planning your activity. But basically during practicum 1, or during practicum, your first observation, we're looking for these skills. So use of a strength-based theory, and these other things were on the rubric: opening the session, stating the objective, attending, building rapport, closing, and then consistency with your nonverbal and verbal skills. Those are the things we're looking for. And then the rest of this is very simple. This tells you what we'll be looking for in the internship observations, and then this explains the reflect model again. So don't have to turn this one in, just something for your info. And then the last thing I posted up here is just an example of a completed rubric and a completed reflect model. So if you take a look, this is just one in the past. Everything in red is what you would type in. Sorry. And green is what I would have typed in there as a professor or instructor. And then you can see kind of what the student wrote here in red to see what each piece of the reflect model might look like. But we want this, of course, to be your learning and your reflection on your tape. Okay. So after you've done all of that, you will be ready to submit your video and those documents to Blackboard. Unfortunately, the place to submit the documents is not in week 3. That is an accident, and we're not sure. Talked to Dr. Harris about this. We're not sure why it's located in week 6. It is in week 6. We're not sure why, but it's definitely due in week 3. So when you go to week 6, that's how you'll have to submit it, unfortunately, right now. And I apologize for that. But when you scroll down to week 6, you'll see formal observation number 1. And if you look right here, it says by week 3. So I think it was just an error with the course designers when they put in our Blackboard content. But this is actually where you will submit the documents as well as the video. So one last thing, it's at the end of this tape. You need to. There'll be another video explaining you how to submit the video and your documents because that's going to take a few minutes to explain. But also there will be a link for you to sign up for your interactive conference session. And so all that is fancy words for the time that you and I will meet to talk about your tape. So I'll send you a link and it will take you to this document here. This document is where you will sign up for a date to meet with me. We will meet with groups with students in groups of 5. So it'll be 5 students and myself, and we will meet for 1 hour. We will discuss your tape, not in super detail because we want to protect your confidentiality. So we're not going to, say any of the things that we think could have improved on in front of other students, but we do want to discuss what your experience was like with other students because other students and other counselors in training can definitely learn from that. So you'll just come into this document, type in your name and your email address here to sign up for a session. Basically, I've got 2 days. I've got Sunday, February 12th, either at 6 or 7:30, and then I've got Sunday, February 19th, again at 6, 7:30, and then I have 2 slots here at 9 o'clock p.m. because we have an odd number of students in the class. Remember, all of these times are Eastern Standard Times, and this is a first come, first serve sign up. So this will all begin the week after you submit the tape plus your documents. So that gives me a week to review them all, and then we'll start meeting to talk about how well you did and finalize that process. If you have questions, as always, please feel free to send me an email at any time. I look forward to seeing your videos and seeing how you are in action, and I also look forward to seeing you Wednesday night in class/group supervision. Thanks a lot. Take care.